Lovely. Thank you very much for joining Sally and myself. Sally Watson is a career coach and she's the founder of Career Creators. What she helps do is help unfulfilled professionals who are at career crossroads to really navigate uncertainty, gain clarity, and also create alignment in their careers, their businesses, and also their personal lives as well. Sally, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you so much, Nicola. It's great to be back. I can't believe it's been a year that has passed since we did one of our collaborative webinars last year. So it's really great to be back. All right. So the topic, what we're discussing today, is gain clarity in your career and overcome imposter syndrome. So what to expect today in this webinar is what we're going to be going through is learning how to gain clarity in your career. We're also going to be talking about uncovering what is holding you back. And, we've given a hint to that in the title of the webinar. And I'll be talking you through the creator's way to creating career success. So my name is Sally Watson, and I am the founder of my own business, Career Creators, as Nicola has shared. So look, it's a pretty loaded topic today, and there's so much more that I could give you in terms of gaining clarity and overcoming imposter syndrome. So we're working with the time that we've got and giving you a taster of some of the tools that I use with my clients with gaining clarity and overcoming imposter syndrome. And then, we'll have some options for a free downloadable to help you further with that if it's something that you're wanting. So I would love to start and ask each of you, what brought you here today? We've got some options here, so you can type in A, B, C, or D in the chat. What brought you here? Is it that you're at a career crossroads and you're looking for that direction? Is it that you're unhappy in your current work situation and you just know that something has to change? Is it that you want to progress your career, but you're suffering from imposter syndrome? Or you simply love learning and take up any opportunity to develop and improve yourself?
We've got lots of D's, Sally. People love learning. Another person that's hedging their bets there with an A, C, and D.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just letting another person in. There's quite a variety of people.
Wonderful. Well, these are common reasons that people do come to us and get help with this. So looking to help your staff, another one to add in there. Okay, awesome. Great. And a little bit of C. Yeah, not a problem. Okay, so just a little bit about Career Creators. Here there is myself and my head coach, Katie, on the team here. And I just thought I'd give you a snapshot of what is career coaching. We like to describe ourselves as a little bit of career therapists combined with career strategists. I'm just getting a bit of background noise there, Nicola. I'm not sure if everyone is muted.
Let me just check 1 second.
I'll just keep going. That's okay. So
okay.
Both Katie and I are, have spent over a decade in recruitment and HR, where we bring a lot of the career strategy elements to what we do. And we're also trained and accredited in life coaching and human behavior accreditations as well. So we really combine those two. And it's a little bit like a new age, guidance counselor, I guess. But more so really helping with not only that career strategy, but moving past those blocks that we have within ourselves. A lot of the times people come to us and they're like, I've had a knock to my confidence, or, I'm just so indecisive and I can't decide on what I want to do, or I'm feeling really overwhelmed. I don't know what the next steps are. So that, we bring in our life coaching skills to really help people to navigate that uncertainty that they're facing. So as you can see here, this is what we do. We help professionals that are unfulfilled in their career. They're at that crossroads, and we help them to navigate that uncertainty, which could be breaking through those blocks, gain clarity, and create an aligned career or business and life. Okay, so it's really about having that career that is aligned to them, to a career that suits them, suits their personality, suits their strengths, suits their values, because this all then filtrates out into their life, and we're really wanting that alignment with their career and life.
Absolutely. And we used to talk about work-life balance, but it's more like work-life integration, and you've got to be happy to be fulfilled in both, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And career is a part of our life, so it's I love that message there about having that integrated. Wonderful. So I am going to talk about the steps to create career success. This is our Career Creators unique framework that we take our clients through, that I wanted to share with you today. So this is called the Creators Way. And what we start with, this first step here, is really ensuring that we've got clarity, that we know what our long-term career vision is, that we've got that guiding North Star, so that, when things happen and we do derail, because that does happen, we've got this vision that can pull us back and have that guiding North Star. So we help our clients to really gain that clarity. And then we go up to the next step, which is building that confidence, or for some people, it can be regaining that confidence. We have a lot of people say to us, 10 years ago, my career, I was so confident, and now things have changed. I'm starting to doubt myself, or I've had a knock to my confidence, and I want to get back to where I used to be, or, regain and rebuild that. Okay, so that's step 2, which is about that confidence. And a lot of that is all about mindset. And, it could be healing. It could be healing from some work trauma, burnout, those sorts of things. The third step is then really about creating the plan, creating the strategy, and knowing what those actions are that you need to take. Then we go to step 4, which is about connect. And that's really about developing our personal brand and who we're connecting with, and how we're putting ourselves out there. And the 5th step is convert. So this is learning authentic sales strategies, how to sell ourselves, because for those that don't like selling themselves, which is most people, it's a part of life. In fact, we're always selling ourselves. We're always developing our brand, and we're always, selling ourselves in some way, whether it's for a job or not, or it's just, building that personal brand. Okay,
absolutely.
so I'll keep moving, but if there's any questions, please feel free to, pop a Q in there, and we can come back to you, or you can type your question in, or if you're happy to come off mute, that's okay. So that's just going through the Creators Way, our signature coaching process. And I've just really talked through these, getting clear on your career direction, overcoming the barriers, creating the plan, connecting and collaborating, and learning authentic sales strategies. So we've really covered that. And, in what we do, we have 2 phases. It's really, this first phase is, I like to explain it, this is internal. This is about us. It's really self-discovery, self-exploration, working on ourselves and looking internally before we then look externally. So quite often, a lot of people will jump straight to this external and be like, okay, I'm not happy. I want to change jobs. I'm going to get my resume done. I'm going to start looking, putting myself out there, building my brand, and looking for a new role. Whereas we recommend coming back a few steps and really starting with self first, that self-discovery and identifying these elements. Okay.
Absolutely. Digging deep. At the beginning.
Yeah, wonderful. So I wanted to go into step 1 a little bit further today, because the topic is gaining clarity. Okay, so we're going to type yes in the chat box if you're keen to delve into how to gain clarity further, just so I know this is what you're here for.
I'll kick off there, Sally. Yes. Oh, yes. No. We're getting a lot more yeses. The first one's always the hardest. Lots of yeses.
Loving all of them coming through. Okay. So here's just a bit of a snapshot of so many different ways that we help people to really look internally to gain clarity. Okay, so my philosophy is we need to know what we want. We need to know ourselves, and it's knowing ourselves on a deep level. And, you know, some people quite often are like, yes, no, I do know who I am. I do know myself. But the thing is, we're always growing and evolving as people. So it's a great thing to do on a regular basis to get really clear on these, because they may have changed. Okay, so these are different ways that we help our clients to gain clarity, which is really knowing what their values are, their career values, their personal values, and the values that they're actually living, not just what they say they are. Okay, knowing your personality, what drives your decisions, what are your strengths, what's your genius zone, what are your transferable skills, what is it that motivates you, that gets you jumping out of bed on that Monday morning and wanting to go into work and be passionate about what you're doing. You know, what is it that lights you up? I always talk about, you know, in the workplace, thinking about when something lights us up, it's like in our brain, our lights are on and we're really engaged in what we're doing. Whereas when we're not lit up, I would think of it as our lights being off in our mind. Okay, so knowing what your purpose is, your uniqueness, as I've already talked about, your vision. And then we've got over here, development areas, your blocks. What are your stuck patterns and your confidence killers? Okay. So I'd love to know, are there any on there that you're thinking, oh, I would really love to explore this one further? Type in the chat which one that would be.
I'll go, Sally, and then maybe it will encourage. Oh, just a minute, we've got people coming in. So blocks, what they are and why. Also stuck patterns is another one. Another stuck patterns and confidence killers. Stuck patterns seems to be quite
common one.
Common.
Yeah.
I was going to say popular. I don't know whether that's the right terminology, but yes, a common one.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And you know, what I'm noticing is that everyone's looking for this side of the fence of how they can improve, how they can move past what's holding them back, which is really great. So, you know, we are accredited in behavioral profiling. So we do, some people may have done DISC profiling. We use extended DISC to help our clients with career planning and understanding what perhaps are in their blind spots. You know, what's in their unconscious that they're just not noticing that can be contributing to them being stuck. You know, and we've got some tools that can show you this in black and white, which is really cool, which we use behavioral profiling, and also we've got another tool that we've just been trained in as identifying your saboteurs. Okay, so shall we continue? Let's dive into gaining some clarity.
Definitely.
Amazing. All right. So what I would love for you to do, so we love reflection. Reflection is a very powerful tool. And what I would love everyone to do is to just take a moment and to actually close your eyes. And for everyone, this is a safe space and judgment-free. And I'd love you to close your eyes and take a moment to think of a time in your career, in the workplace. It might be many years ago, or it might be recent, where you felt energized and really engaged in what you're doing. Could be a period of time, it could be one day, one task, whatever it is for you. Taking your time to think about that now. All right. So if you've been able to identify and think of that time, just type Y for yes in the chat. Okay, lots of yeses coming through. All right, so now I want you to think about what are the key themes that you noticed that contributed toward you feeling engaged and energized. So I'd like for you to take a moment and think about that and write that down in your workbook. You know, this can just be for you to think about what are those themes? What was it that was contributing to me being engaged in that past experience?
And it will be different for different people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so as a recruiter, it's finding that right person before they've even had the interview, and you know that they're the one. And 20 years later, I still feel that fizzy feeling when I know I've found the one. I think there's quite a lot of people from a technical background here. So problem solving and really getting down to solving that problem will be another thing, I guess, where people felt really engaged and energized.
Yes, amazing. Thanks for sharing, Nicola. We've actually got some shares coming through in the chat. So I encourage everyone, if you are happy to share that in the chat now. What was it? What was those themes? What did you notice?
One of them here is taking ownership.
Nice.
Another, taking ownership, being listened to as an expert and being respected. Helping people, which is very much, I guess you as well, Sally, you come from that kind of angle as well.
Absolutely. And we can group into two very high chunks in our career that we're either, you know, in a people focused or a non-people focused, or, you know, we're focused on things or a system or a product. So that's, you know, two very simplified ways.
Oh, this is coming back to people, but working with a wonderful team, being able to help people and also having challenging projects, which is great.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Fantastic.
So that was a super quick exercise that we did in 2 minutes to help you to gain some clarity of what's worked in your past. Okay, so that's one, you know, super quick way, and I trust that that's been helpful for you all in just seeing, well, what is that that's contributed to me being happy and energized? How can I replicate that moving forward or bring more of that back into my career? Okay, so we've got many other ways and many other great questions as well, but I trust that reflection question was valuable. So who would love to do another quick activity to help with clarity?
Yes, please.
Okay, and then we'll move on to the blockers that I know everyone's hanging out for. Okay, so what I'm going to take you through is a couple of questions to help you to get insight to what your career values are. Okay, so again, it's around, I'm going to be asking you some really great questions, because if we want great answers, we need to ask great questions. Okay, so I'd love you to open a new page in your workbook and replicate this image and just having my career, and we're creating a mud map. Okay, so write my career and do a circle, and you know, you can have a whole heap of lines. It doesn't have to be 6. You'll be adding loads to this. And I'm not sure, Jenny, if you're able to type these questions into the chat box when I say them. So what I want each of you to do now is to brainstorm the answers to this first question. So question 1 is, in the context of your career, what is important to you? So I want you to spend a minute now writing all the things that are important to you when it comes to your career. We're going to be adding to this, so we want to elicit as many things as possible. In the context of your career, what is important to you?
Sally, I'll write the questions. That's probably easier. And if you're I guess all the questions are related to your career. So I'll just, for example, write what is important to you.
Yep.
And are we sharing, or are we just writing on our...
Just giving them some time to write, first of all,
yeah.
And then we can share some of those for whoever's happy to. Yeah, we've got some coming through now. I've just got my timer on to give everyone a minute. So I'd love it if you could share, if you're happy to share any of those things that are important to you, because we can actually learn from each other and be inspired and take and, you know, steal from each other. So type in the chat, what are some of those things that are important to you in your career?
So the first one is being respected and valued based on their experience is really important to them, which is great.
Thanks for sharing.
And anyone else, what's important to you in your career? Growth and learning opportunities, money, satisfaction, flexibility, and being trusted. So not having micromanaging type environments. Supportive
Amazing.
work environment, and again, trust is very important.
Great. All right. We'll move on to the next question. If you've got a different color pen, you can change it, or otherwise that's okay. So you're going to be adding more things to this career values mud map. The question is, so looking at your paper, if all of those things were not present in your career, so the things that you've just written down, if they were not present, what would make you stay anyway? I'll repeat that one more time. If all of the things that you've written down were not present in your career, what would make you stay anyway? I'll give you some time to reflect on that.
I've shortened the question in the chat, but it kind of get the message across. So this is about what is your absolute bottom line that would keep you there. So waiting for the right opportunity to come whilst taking on board lessons learned is the first comment with regards to what would make them stay. So continual learning from that perspective.
Great. So what this is doing, it's just helping us to delve a level deeper to what your career values are, to pull some out that you may not have thought from that first question.
Opportunity to learn, keeping it with technology, waiting for other opportunities. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. The people.
Yeah.
So it might not be the ideal job, but they like the people that they work with.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is where it could be. Yeah. And I love that came through. Money as well.
Well, I thought money was probably going to be the most obvious one, but it's actually later down the list.
Or it could be different company perks and benefits.
Yeah, opportunity to learn, support, fun people, interesting work, personal commitments.
Another common one I've heard from people share is actually having balance and flexibility. So they're like, I've really got that working with my career, but and that's what's keeping me there, even though they're wanting a change from the type of work that they do, they're scared that they might lose that. Yeah.
Open people.
So this is all of these things are also what is actually important to you. Okay. So our third question now, to continue adding to this, if you look at your page and if everything was there, if everything was present in your career that you've got written down, is there anything that would make you leave? I want you to really consider this, and it's helping you to dig a little bit deeper. So Oh, they're coming through quite quickly there.
They are. I think it's easier to decide what you don't want than what you do want sometimes, isn't it? So bad management. Well, somebody said no, there's nothing that would make them leave. Toxicity in the workplace. A better opportunity, a greater opportunity that's more challenging. And when they say ching ching, I assume they mean more money. Lack of flexibility, bad people, boring work, bullying, toxic workplace, and again, also salary as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it comes down very much to toxic, bad people, or the work not being particularly interesting, and bad management.
So you might want to, look at some of the words that you've got, and you may need to reframe it. So if you've written, okay, toxic workplace, that's not what you value. What you value is what you're wanting instead. So it's, a supportive work culture or whatever that is for you, that's the opposite of toxic for you. And if you've written bad management, then, what is really important to you is, great management. I'd encourage you to come up with a better word than great. What is it about the leadership that you're looking for? Okay, so everything that you've written down are truly what is important to you in your career. So I would love for you to now to really reflect on everything you've written down and go through and then circle what are your top 3 career values. Read over each word and just see which one really resonates best with you. And you can then circle or highlight or write down your top 3. If you can't narrow it to 3, I'll let you have 5, but no more than 5.
Otherwise you get decision paralysis, don't you, if there's too many.
Exactly. So once you've got that, I'd love for you to share your top 3 values in the chat.
So we've got growth, people, and also a progressive environment / workplace.
Nice.
So obviously that learning aspect's really important, and the people that they're working with.
Great. I'm loving yours there, Nicola, as well. Helping people, freedom and flexibility. Beautiful.
Got another one here: respected, rewarded, challenged, as well as trust and continue to support. Also respect, challenges, growth, a great culture. And I think they didn't finish writing, but it's probably going to say collaboration. Oh, yes, it is. Excellent.
Wonderful. Okay. So, and keep them coming through, because I'm sure everyone is enjoying reading each other's as well. So keep them coming through if they are for you. And then to extend on this further, you may have seen I've got another column over here. What I want you to think about, and this can be a home play exercise for you, is, how do you know that you're living these values? What's the evidence that you've got that you have these values in your career? Okay. So, looking there, learning, flexibility, challenges, respect. So then having a piece of evidence in there to know, well, how are you learning in your career? How do you have flexibility? What are the challenges? What's an example of respect? So having these evidence points will help you for when that scenario is then happening again. It's like, yeah, this is my values. I'm living my values right now. So I encourage you to, it might have come to you quickly of what your pieces of evidence are, or start noticing it. Start noticing it within your career today, what you've been doing, or in the last week. Yeah, so Scott's popped in there, exposed to greater opportunities, aligned with agreed goals, expectations and experience, people coming to you for mentoring. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I am going to jump to the second part of the webinar today. and which is really looking at what has been holding you back. Okay, so it was quite popular hearing of people that, you know, wanting the stuck patterns and to look at what are those blocks. So I like to think of it as our glass ceiling, our glass ceilings. So, you know, we help people to gain clarity, and it's like once you've got that clarity, it's like you can see where you're wanting to go, and then quite often there can be a glass ceiling. So we're looking where we want to go, but there's resistance. You know, something's getting in our way and holding us back, and this is what our glass ceiling is. And when, you know, when sometimes we're not sure of what that is, and what we want to do is be able to break through that glass ceiling to get to where we want to go and create the success that we're wanting. So I'd love to know in the chat, you know, what do you think it is that is holding you back? Are you aware of what it is, or are you unaware? You can, if you're unaware, you could just say unaware, or if you do know and you're happy to share what that is, that would be great. But we're going to go into a few different things that we commonly see people holding back in the next slides as well. Awares coming through. And perhaps it can be thinking about what brought you here. Because the thing that what brought you here could be part of giving you a clue of what's holding you back. Yeah, so I'm seeing confidence, belief in yourself, speaking up. Awesome, awesome. All right. So what I've got here is self-sabotage can be, you know, the overall banner of different things, different glass ceilings of things that are getting in our way. Okay. So, you know, yes, there could be some external factors as well, but we want to be focusing on what we can control. Okay, so what we can control is everything going on internally within us. The only things we can control are our thoughts, actions, and behaviors. Okay, so I've got a definition here of self-sabotage: behaviors or thought patterns that hold you back and prevent you from doing what you want to do. Who thinks they might be guilty of some self-sabotage in their career? Okay, so I'll give you some examples. I like to refer to these common self-sabotage patterns as the 4 Ps. And I know that one of them isn't a P there, but we're focusing on the P in the name. So we've got procrastination, perfectionism, imposter syndrome, and people pleasing. These are some really common ones I see getting in the way for a lot of people in terms of their self-sabotage and behavior patterns. And there are more as well, definitely around, you know, the high achiever, which can be then linked with, a lot of them will interlace and cross over as well. Okay, so we've got a few people resonating with these. Okay, so to go into them a little bit further, you know, I'm sure we all know what procrastination is. I'm sure everyone's done it at least once, if not more. So it's delaying or putting things off, you know, and what procrastination can often be is actually a need for certainty. Because who has ever delayed a task or something and, you know, gone ahead and completely cleaned their desk instead? So it's normally that we're procrastinating the unknown because it's something unfamiliar, and then we'll be going to something that is familiar and filling that need for certainty, because certainty is one of our core needs as human beings. We need that. So we've also got perfectionism. So striving for perfect, needing to have it right or flawless, you know, and this can show up even with people that are at that career crossroads. The people that I meet is they're looking for this right answer, and it has to be this right job title, and that's what's actually getting in their way of finding a career that's aligned with them, because they're striving for perfect. Yeah, thanks for sharing there in the chat as well. A lot of people resonating with these, or now seeing what their self-sabotage patterns are, you know, going over the top to try and prove my capability and experience. Yeah. So imposter syndrome, which was part of the topic today, is when you're doubting your capabilities. you feel like a fraud or think your success is just luck. You know, quite often people resonate with, it's like, oh, I get compliments that, you know, oh, you're doing really well, or, you know, get all these accolades. And then you're thinking, oh gosh, well, I'm just lucky to get to where I am. That's just luck. That's not really me. You're not really able to receive that compliment. You're blocking it because you're doubting yourself, and you don't see yourself the way that others do. Another common self-saboteur is people pleasing. So saying yes to everything, constantly saying yes, 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 and putting yourself last, not having those firm boundaries in place of, you know, where you end and the next person starts. And, you know, this can lead to taking on so much work and lead to burnout.
I think it's interesting. And with this, Sally, I was just going to say that a lot of them kind of happen at different stages in your life as well, or have a more prevalent depending at where you are in life, and what have you. Yeah, absolutely. And some of them will resonate with others more, and some of them won't. Like, some people don't resonate with people pleasing, but they do with perfectionism. Some people don't resonate with procrastination, but they do with imposter syndrome. And we've got a whole other list of saboteurs as well, but these are just some common ones that I know a lot of people we speak to really resonate with. Yeah, that's a great point as well, working with more experienced people who pretend to be helpful. Okay. And yeah, the perfectionism coming through there kills me when there's a typo after I read and reread it. I think that's happened to all of us. You read it 20 times and then somebody points it out immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to delve into imposter syndrome a little bit deeper here. So yeah, ChatGPT, isn't that an amazing tool that's just been shared in there for copywriting? So some common signs of imposter syndrome is, it's really, you know, imposter syndrome, I see it as self-doubt, it's second guessing yourself. Okay, it's that inability to realistically assess your skills and competence because you're doubting yourself, or thinking, oh, you know, a lot of people I've been working with recently, they're like, I don't know what my skills are. And I'm like, well, tell me what you did today and let's uncover them. But they just think that, oh no, that's nothing. Like they're just like, that's just second nature to me. And I'm like, well, if it's second nature to you, that no doubt you're really good at it because it comes easily to you. And sometimes we can get confused because things come easily to us. We just think that they're easy and we disregard that skill. But really, speaking to someone else and they think that what you do is amazing because it doesn't come easily to everyone. Okay. Another common sign is attributing your success to external factors. Oh, that was just because I was in the right place at the right time. Oh, that was because of my great relationship with so-and-so, or so-and-so recommended me. Berating your performance or minimizing. Oh, it was nothing. It's not really a big deal. Oh, it didn't take that long. Or we've got fear that you won't live up to expectations. You know, overachieving, which there was something similar to that came up in the chat. Sabotaging your own success. Setting very challenging goals and then feeling disappointed when you fall short. So that's a really recipe for setting yourself up for failure. Okay.
It's a fine balance though, isn't it? It needs to be challenging, but not so you set yourself up for failure as well.
Yeah. The great combination I love to think of goals is making it realistically ambitious. So having that nice combination that it's ambitious and it's realistic. And, I like to say to my clients, tune into that feeling. Like, does it excite you and scare you? Because if it's exciting and a bit scary, then you're on to something in terms of your goals there, because you want it to scare you a little bit. Yeah, that's really common as well, struggling and selling yourself via an elevator pitch. Absolutely. We have a really some great strategies of helping people with their elevator pitch as well, so more than happy to chat with anyone about that offline. Feel free to reach out. Yeah. So who would love to know some strategies on how to kick imposter syndrome to the curb?
Yes, please, Sally.
I have a workbook of 5 strategies to beat imposter syndrome. So I will grab that link now. Awesome. So I'm loving the commitment coming through. We're all about accountability here. So, saying this out loud, that you're committing to it, it's helping to keep yourself accountable. So I wanted to share this quote in here as well. If you've heard of Jim Rohn, he says, if you want to be wealthy and happy, learn this lesson well. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So this is what we're all about, is working on ourselves. Okay. It's not only focusing on our professional development, we're also wanting to focus on our personal development, developing ourselves. And I'm sure Nicola will attest to what employers and what people are looking for when they're hiring staff members, is they're wanting, the right person.
That's a really good point. And it's invariably mindset over skill set. I mean, obviously you need to have a basic level of skills to do the job. But that mindset and the professional development and the continual learning is what is going to stand you that higher regard than somebody that just does their job. Definitely.
Amazing. So before we wrap up, I would love to check in with everyone and ask you what has been of most value so far. I would love to get some feedback of just what one key takeaway or piece of gold has been for you today.
So I think the clarity is key. And also that we all have those insecurities and those sabotages. They just appear in different ways. Listening to others and sharing the challenges.
Yeah.
Getting more insight into stuck patterns.
Right.
Fantastic.
This is why these sessions are so valuable, because you get to hear from other people. I get that all the time from people saying, I loved hearing what other people were sharing. So know that you've all inspired each other today.
Reminded that we're good at what we do, we have room to improve, but not be perfect.